What's going on, everyone? So a while back I did a wine glass that had the carousing method with a white wax, and that got me thinking, well, what other colors can I use? So I started looking online for various colored waxes, and the one thing that I found was similar between all of the different brands is that they're really expensive, and I'm not trying to do anything fancy with them, and I just want to mess around with different colors, but they're super expensive. So that got me thinking, well, what other alternatives are there? And I actually found out that there is a very simple way to get into the world of colored waxes. Now, I don't know how well this would work on larger scale projects, but I do know that it works relatively well for the goblets and stuff that I've been making, and maybe small objects as well. So today I figured I would make a video and show you guys what I'm doing. So essentially it's this. It's Varathane's paste wax. It's a hard finishing wax. It's a natural color, and I found that if you mix this with just any old simple acrylic paint, you can find it at your local craft store, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, AC Moore, if that's even a place anymore. And you just mix them together in about like a, I don't know, 1-to-1 ratio. I guess whatever works for you. And it basically acts as a wax, but you can tint it to whatever color you want. So I want to just give you a quick rundown on how I do it. I have these blocks here of red oak. I found that for the carousing method, red oak and ash wood work really well because they have a really nice open grain structure and also really clear, distinct rings. So the difference between charring the wood and putting the wax in there is absolutely fantastic. So I have these blocks here. I'm making them up for another project that I want to get into. I want to start doing kumiko, and these will have angles on them, various angles, so I can do all of the different cuts that I need to put everything together. So I thought, well, what better way than to use these with the wax I have? I'm using them already, and I think it'll look pretty cool. So we've got 5 colors that we're going to use. First off, orange, because it's Spooktober, and we got to get a little black and orange in there. Green, because green's my favorite color. Blue and red, think they'll be nice contrasts. And then I don't know how well this one's going to work. I've never tried it, but we're going to do a silver as well and see how well that works out. So I'm going to get the camera, switch it up so you can see what I'm doing, and we'll go from there. Okay, so before we start off with the waxing process, we first need to torch the ever-loving hell out of these blocks. So we're going to get our propane, and we've got our various wire brushes. I have a very aggressive steel one, a couple of not so aggressive steel, and then a nice soft brass one. So first things first, we're going to torch the wood. Now you just don't want a surface. You want to really make sure that you burn everything. Some nice even passes with it. Make sure to take your time. And the benefit of doing this too is red oak smells really good when you torch it. So not only are you going to come out with a cool product, but your workshop's going to smell amazing. So let's get the other ones done. We're going to fast forward through this, and then we can get started on the wax method. Okay, so now that we have these all burned the way that we want to, we're going to now take, probably starting with the most aggressive steel that we have, and run it across. And then after we're done with this, we'll check them and we'll see what's going on. Essentially, we're going to want to make sure that we get as much of this ash off as possible. It doesn't take that much effort, so don't lay into it, just let the tool do its job. So, I'll bring this in so you guys can see. If you look closely, you'll see that a lot of the black is still remaining, but where the rings are, it has actually started to expose some of the red oak again. This is exactly what you want, because you're going to want that contrast between the two. So all of these areas will stay a darker color, and then all of the areas that have been exposed, they'll get filled in with wax, and then that's where you get your two-tone look from. Okay, now that you have sufficiently wire brushed the crap out of your blocks, it's time to clean up your work area from all of this soot, because you are going to need, excuse me, you are going to need a nice clean area to do your clear coating. And then you want to give these a once over as well, just to make sure that any loose soot that's still on the surface is gone, because you do not want that messing up your final finish. The next step is we need to put a single, well, 1 to 2 coats of clear coat on these. And the reason for that is when you put the clear coat on, it creates a little bit of a protective surface for these dark areas. Because what we did with the wire brushing is we opened up a bunch of grooves within the actual rings itself. That's where you want the wax to be. You don't want the wax to sit on these darker areas. So putting a coat or two of clear coat on allows you to be able to wipe off that excess and let it sit in the grooves only. So let's go ahead and get that done now. Now that we have the clear coat on the blocks, we can start going ahead and working with the wax. So let's get this started. Okay, so I've found that about a 1-to-1 kind of works out really well. I haven't really tried any other ways besides that. Maybe you can add more paint, maybe you can add more wax. So let's just set some down here. Oh, and I also found out that if you want a color to be a little bit lighter without having to mix 2 colors, I found that an acrylic gloss gel medium works really well for it. Just add a little bit in there, mix it up, and it lightens it up a little bit. All right, let's get some mac and cheese colored orange on here. And it's just a simple matter of trying to get the two to work well with each other, which it doesn't take much to mix them together. You just gotta make sure that everything stays together. And I found the best way to apply it is with blue shop towels. They work out really well. So we just take some of this, slap it right on there, and then just push it into the grooves that you've got. Don't necessarily worry about removing any of the excess right now. Just want to get it into all of those little crevices. Now, when you're removing the excess, you want to be very careful. You don't want to like really push down on it. You just want a nice, careful push across it. Just gently glide across, because if you push too hard, then the cloth will actually push into the grooves and then you're back at square one. So let's do this so you guys can see it a little bit better. And we'll just slowly wipe off the excess. And then even going opposite, so that way you're not going with the grooves. That helps out as well. And then just you repeat this process until you're satisfied with the result. And there you go. You just turned a wax that has absolutely zero color to it at all. Well, a natural wood tone color. But taking something like this, added a little bit of this, that's about 97 cents. And you are left with this, which this wax itself for a 1 ounce container. So a little itty bitty container like this would probably cost you anywhere from $10 to $20 in some cases, which if you're just getting into the process of using colored waxes, that's way too much. And if you don't like the color, well, you can't return it because you've already started to use it. This method allows you to use a nice tub like this, which is about 15, 20 bucks or less. I haven't checked in a while, and taken a cheap acrylic color and mix the two, and then you can get something like this, which, you know, in my opinion, I think it looks amazing. I don't think you need to actually go out and get colored waxes. You can just make your own. So we're going to set this one off to the side, and then we're going to do a time-lapse speed run through the other ones, and then we'll put them all together, and I'll show you the end result. And don't worry, all of this extra will be used for the opposite side. Speedrun time! So I forgot to mention that once you apply the wax onto your surface, let it sit for a little bit, I'd say 5-10 minutes, and then you can apply clear coat over the top of it. Especially if you're going to be using them for goblets, it will benefit you to have a clear coat over the top of the wax, so that way everything gets sealed in and you don't have any wax rub off. Okay, back to the speedrun. Time lapse complete. So, in just 19 minutes, we were able to get every single one of these done. It does not take that long at all to get absolutely stunning results. The one thing I will say, and it might just be due to this particular red oak's grain structure, the silver really didn't come out as well as the other colors. This basically came out as like a gray. So if you want to use this color, I would suggest going with a gray, because it's basically a slightly sparkly gray. So save your money. Instead of getting a metallic paint, get a gray basic paint that will be the 99 cents instead of a couple of dollars for a small tube. I hope you guys found this enjoyable and informative. If you guys out there happen to use this technique and make something really cool with it, please send me an email with some pictures and stuff. I would love to see how you guys use this in your projects. Thank you so much for watching, and if you really enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm going to try and do some tips on various techniques and everything that I've learned over the years, so look forward to more of that in the future. Talk to you guys then.